Hello, critical thinkers. Tony is a personal trainer who sent me an email that he was being harassed at work. My language, not his. His female supervisor, that he describes as quote unquote hot and crazy, has written him up twice since their sexual relationship ended. What should he do? Oh, and I forgot to mention, he's married and has a baby at home. I'm going to be reading Tony's email and giving you the three options I believe he has. If you disagree, let me know in the comments section below. Here is Tony's email. Dear Critical Conversations, I am in trouble. Been written up twice in the last month, and the last written warning I received said that I may be terminated if further quote unquote performance issues continue to occur. I work in the fitness industry for a major fitness chain as a trainer and a health coach. I work with clients one-on-one to improve their bodies and quality of life. My supervisor has turned on me. I started getting these write-ups shortly after our relationship ended. I never wanted anything serious and we agreed to it. I didn't think it would be a problem since she oversees multiple facilities. Prior to us hooking up, she started spending a lot of time in my facility and set up her workstation. I was flattered. She is hot and crazy. She knew my situation. She knew I was married and have a baby at home. My wife doesn't know what is happening at work, but sees that I am incredibly stressed out since I work a lot of hours and have my job hanging over my head unless I resume hanging out with my supervisor. I feel guilty, horrible, and can't lose my marriage and my job. What do you recommend? This pretty much goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. This is an effing horrible situation for anyone to be in. It's pretty bad. There's two ways of looking at it, professionally and personally. I'm not going to be giving any recommendations or options for what Tony should be doing personally. I will focus on the professional aspect of this situation. What I am about to go into are options. It doesn't mean that I personally recommend any of these options. I'm just listing all of the possibilities for Tony to consider, not in any specific order. Option number one, Tony might consider transferring to another facility. It seems Tony works for a large enough corporation with multiple locations, multiple sites, that he might be able to get a transfer. The problem is two things. One, typically when you work for a large enough corporation and you put in for a transfer, they will look into your employee file, your disciplinary record, and at the moment, he has two written warnings in his file. That's pretty bad. The possibility of him transferring is low, but it might be something that he may want to attempt to do to get out of this situation. Another part of the problem with this option of transferring is that he may need a recommendation from his supervisor. And obviously, I don't think this woman is going to be giving him a glowing reference considering that she's written him up twice already. Option two, quit. Most attorneys will say, do not quit. That's the last thing that you should be thinking about doing. If you're in a situation where you believe that you're being harassed and you quit your job, you lose any leverage that you potentially had. In terms of unemployment, your unemployment may be affected if you quit, even though typically unemployment is very pro-employee. This might be used against you, your resignation. It might be used against you to deny your unemployment on behalf of the employer. I'm going to speak about the personal aspect as well. I'm assuming before he quits his job, he may want to talk to his wife and state that he wants to quit. This might not be something that he's willing to do. This may not be a very viable option in terms of quitting, but it's something that I just put out there as a potential. Option number three, he can complain. Before Tony complains, he needs to get a copy of his employee handbook. He needs to understand what the reporting procedure is before he takes any action. Tony needs to also know who his HR person is. Most likely, based on the kind of organization that Tony describes, they may have a quote unquote HR business partner that is servicing a region, servicing the state, or servicing the city where Tony lives in with the multiple locations. Before he complains, he needs to gather up and ensure that he has any evidence. For example, if he has text messages, emails, any details of what occurred, addresses that he's been to. He needs to be sure that he can authenticate his complaint and have evidence that he actually did have a sexual relationship with his supervisor. It's very possible that in his employee handbook, there's a section that speaks about relationships. And I'm pretty sure in that handbook, it's going to speak against supervisors having intimate relationships with their employees. Before you complain, understand that you must put this complaint in writing. You want a record that you complained to Human Resources and that you follow the procedure in your employee handbook. After complaining, understand that the situation might get worse. Your immediate supervisor might make it more challenging for you to work in the fitness facility that you're working in now. Also, understand that you might have personal consequences. You mentioned, Tony, that you're married, you have a baby at home. I'm pretty sure the supervisor has your personal information, has your address. Your wife might be notified that you're having an affair. So just understand that this may get significantly worse. Critical thinkers, if you found value in this video, please subscribe. Also, if you want more content, I have a video that's going to be coming up speaking about abusers in nonprofit organizations. Protect the vulnerable. Peace.